Hello students. In the previous class we already started the chapter light. So in this chapter we already discussed regular, irregular dispersion of light. Today we are discussing about eyes. So as you know, human eye is a very important in our body. So human eye is the sense organs which help us to see objects around us. The eyeball is the almost spherical in shape. Light enters the eye spherical in shape. Light enters the eyes through transparent members known as cornea. Behind the cornea is a muscular structure called iris, which has an opening called pupil, and the pupil controls the amount of light enter the eye. Behind the pupil is the eye lens. It is a convex lens which focuses the images of the object on the retina. The release muscles helps the eye lens and to focus the images of the object on the retina. The retina has two types, that is two types of cells called rods and coronets. The rods are sensitive to bright light and colors. The coronets and the sensitive to dim light. The optic nerves carry this sensation to the brain. The human eye is an organ. As you know, it is an organ which helps us see the objects, and the eyeball is in spherical shape. Eyeball spherical in shape, and the light enters the eye. The transparent membrane is called cornea. Light enter ಆಗುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ನಾವು ಕೋರಿನಾ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಕೋರಿನಾ ದ ಮಸಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೇಸ್. ಕೊರಿನಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ರೀಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯನ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ಯೂಪಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಯೂಪಿಲ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ದ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ದ ಐ. ಪ್ಯೂಪಿಲ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ದ ಲೈಟ್. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಲೈಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ದ ಪ್ಯೂಪಿಲ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ದ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ರೆಟಿನಾ. ಪ್ಯೂಪಿಲ್ಸ್ ಲೈಟನ್ನು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ಯೂಪಿಲ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ದ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ that is called retina. And the ciliary muscles helps the eye lenses retinaga help ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. and the retina has two types of cells, that is rods and coronets. Rods is a sensitive to bright light and colors, and coronets are sensitive to dim light. See, two types of retinas are there, that is rods and coronets. Rods help us to bright light helps ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, and coronets helps us to dim light. The optical nerves carries the sensations to the brain. So all are help us to carry the sensation to the brain ಅನ್ನು help ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. brain ಇಂದ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತೈತೆ. See, for example, this is a eye, and this is called a cornea, and this is lens, convex lens, and this is choroid, pupil, and iris, retina, and optical nerves, supreme rectical muscles ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಐಯನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಐ. human eye. So human eye is a very important. In this human eye many parts are there. From this small video you have to learn more about the human eye.
Note that objects are visible because of the light getting reflected from their surfaces. This reflected light enters our eyes and we see that object. What happens inside the human eye when the light rays enter it? What is it that helps us see the things around us? The human eye is roughly spherical in shape. What we're going to do in this video is understand the different parts of the eye in short, light in color and transparent. Transparent? Yes, it means that it allows light to pass through it. In fact, cornea refracts or bends the light passing through it. And much of the refraction inside the eye is done by cornea. But wait, it not only refracts light, but also protects the inner parts of the eye. It acts like the tough front wall of the eye, protecting the interior of the eye from accidents, and also does not allow foreign particles to enter. Okay, so this was all about the outer layer of the eye. Let's now talk about the things present inside. Behind the cornea, there's a dark muscular structure called the iris. Iris determines the color of the eye. For instance, when we say that a person has blue eyes, it means that the color of the iris of the person's eye is blue. Now there is a small opening at the center of the iris for the light to enter. Do you know what it's called? It's called the pupil. The iris actually acts like the shutter of a camera. It controls the amount of light entering the eye by enlarging or shrinking and thereby adjusting the size of the pupil. For example, when you focus the light from the torch directly into a person's eye, the iris shrinks. This is because the intensity of light is too much for the eyes to bear. The shrinking iris stops the unwanted light from entering through the pupil. And when there's less light, it expands, allowing more light to enter through the pupil. Okay, what happens next? The light that enters through the pupil falls on the lens kept behind. The lens is a convex lens. Convex lens is a lens which is thicker at the center than the edges. It's a converging lens. That is, it focuses all the light at one point. In a normal regular eye, this point is somewhere here on this inner boundary called retina. Why do I say a normal eye? Well, in a defective eye, this point of focus may lie either in front of the retina or behind the retina. We will talk about this defect of eye in our future videos, but first, let's go back to our normal eye where light is focused on the retina. Retina is at the back of the eye and marks the inner layer of the eyeball. Retina contains lots of nerve cells that sense the light. The nerve cells are of two kinds, namely cones, which are sensitive to bright light, and rods, which are sensitive to dim light. The message or sensation is then transferred to the brain along the optic nerve. Okay, let's quickly recap what we learned about the human eye. Human eye has a roughly spherical shape. The outer part of an eye, called the cornea, is a thick white transparent wall which protects the eye from accidents and keeps the foreign particles from entering inside. Behind the cornea, the colorful part of the eye, called the iris, is present. It has a small opening at the center called pupil. Iris controls the light entering through the pupil by contracting and expanding. Behind the pupil, there is a converging lens which focuses the light on retina. Retina consists of two types of nerve cells, namely cones and rods. They transfer the message through the optic nerve. There is a lot of information to digest. In the next video, we will talk more about this lens present inside the eye.
So this is about human eye. Next, that is deflection of visions. So visions, deflections of visions. ನಾವು ನೋಡುವಾಗಲೂ ಡಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಡಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್? ದ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ. ದ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ at which objects can be seen clearly is 25 meter. The normal eye can be seen nearly as well as distance. Normal eye ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ದೂರಿದ್ದ ವಸ್ತುವನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದ ವಸ್ತುವನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ at which the objects can be seen clearly is 25 meter. 25 ಮೀಟರ್ ದೂರಿಂದ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲಿಯರಾಗಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. And some persons can see nearby objects clearly and but cannot be seen distance objects clearly. Okay, and some person can see distance object clearly but cannot see nearby objects clearly. The deflects can be corrected by using suitable ಕರೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ದೂರದ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸಮೀಪ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದ ವಸ್ತುವನ್ನು ನೋಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರು ನಿಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನೋಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೂರ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನೋಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗೋಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಸೂಟೇಬಲ್ ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಇಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸೂಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಲೆನ್ಸಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ sometimes in old age peoples cannot be see clearly because the eye lens becomes cloudy. ಸೊ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಜ್ಜ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಇವರು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಐ ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಡಿಫ್ಲಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಷನ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ದೂರ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ನಿಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ದೂರ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಕಾಣ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಮೈಕೋಫಿಯಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೈಪೋಫಿಯಾ. ಮೈಪೋಫಿಯಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೈಪೋಫಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಸ್. ಹೌ ವಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಸ್? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ there is some points are there. You have to care of your eyes because eyes are very important. First point is that is if there is any problem of the eyes you have to check up and use suitable spectacles if advised. If any problems in our eyes, your first point is that is if any problems regarding your eyes you have to check up and use suitable spectacles. Means if it is a spectacles is there, you have to take care of your eyes. And too little and too much light is bad for the eyes. Too little or too much ಕಡಿಮೆ ಲೈಟೂ ಐಸಿಗೆ ಹಾನಿಕಾರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲುಕ್ ಆಟ್ ದ ಸನ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ look at the sun or very bright light directly. And next one is if dust particles enter the eye, don't rub the eye. Wash your eyes with clean water. If any dust particles are enter your eyes, so you don't rub it. You have to wash your eyes with clean water. And always read at the normal distance. Don't read by keeping the book too close to the eye or kept it or too far. So whenever you are reading anything, and don't read the keeping, that is keeping the book too close or too far from your eyes. You have to maintain a normal distance from your book and your eyes. And last point is that is deficiency of vitamin A causes night blindness. So take food rich in vitamin A. Deficiency of vitamin A in the night blindness disease ಬರ್ಬೋದು. So you have to take rich food in vitamin A sections. So these are the cares of eyes. Next one is that is Brille system. So what is this system? Brille system is a system used by usually challenged persons, that is blind persons on use ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ to read and write. So this system is used for blind persons to read and write. It has 63 dot patterns which represent alphabets, common words or design or signs. The dots are arranged in cells or two vertical rows of the 3 dots each. So the dots are realized slightly so that the words can be recognized by touching. See here. So this is a system of Brille system. So A means 1 dot, 2 means 3 dot and C means cross dots, D, E. Every alphabets have a different dots to identify the blind persons to read and write. 63 dots ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ 63 ಡಾಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಕಾಮಾ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ their hands they can easily read and write. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 63 ಡಾಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾಮನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಅವರು ಓದ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಹಿಯರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ಲಿ.
Person named Louis Braille. At the age of 3, he had injured his eyes, leaving him completely blind. Yes, he sadly lost his sense of vision. Being a bright and inquisitive child, he continued his education and invented an interesting system which is today known as the Braille system. This is the system for visually handicapped people as it helps them to read and write. Let us study more about the system. This basic structure of the system starts with the Braille cell. As you can see, it's a cell with 6 dots arranged in 3 rows and 2 columns. These cells are named as 1, 2, 3 from top to bottom on the left and 4, 5, 6 from top to bottom on the right. Now on a piece of paper, some or all of these dots are slightly raised about their position. This is for the visually handicapped people to feel these dots using their sense of touch. So this was just one Braille cell. There are many on the piece of paper that can be used to form long sentences and numbers. The dot height, cell size and cell spacing are uniform throughout. Coming back to the single cell, how many patterns do you think can be formed from one single cell? This can be one pattern, this can be another, this is one more, and so on. How many patterns do you think can be formed? There are a total of 63 dot patterns that can be formed. If we assume no dots raised to be one pattern, then 64 patterns can be formed. Each dot pattern can represent letters, combination of letters, a full word, or some symbol. Here is the list of the combination of dots representing the things mentioned above. For example, the letter A is represented by this cell. Only the first dot is raised in this case. Similarly, the letter J is represented by this with these 3 dots raised. The dots 2, 4 and 5 are raised. So this is the set of patterns we have for the English alphabet. 26 such patterns. But now I want you to observe something interesting. Look at the pattern for the digit 1 and the letter A. Aren't they the same? How does the visually handicapped person know whether it's an A or 1? For that, look at this pattern which says number follows. When we have this pattern in front of a pattern, it tells us that a number follows. So this here tells us that we are talking about the digit 1 and not the letter A. Similarly, this would be the digit 2 and so on. Why do we need to have these preceding pattern? Why can't we just have different patterns for numbers? That's because we have limited patterns. Only 64 if you remember. So just with this one pattern of number follows, we saved 10 more patterns for the digits 0 to 9. We also have patterns for punctuations and signs. You can see that this cell represents the question mark sign, whereas this cell represents plus sign. Braille system is the most popular system for the visually challenged people used across the world. Braille text can be produced by hand, or nowadays it is produced using specific typewriters as well.
So this is all about your light chapter. Thank you.